Hiroshi Mikitani, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Talking with me and to the Kassenzone.de followers, the blog that is speaking right now. What we actually are very keen of to know is what the Rakuten.de business model should look like in the future, because as you know, the Germans and the German market is very online vending machine brainwashed. We are buying very price aggressive. Of course, we want to have the shopping experience of a bazaar, but we only want to pay the price of the vending machine. Can you give us like a short overview about why a normal customer should buy on the Rakuten.de platform?
Of course, the price and efficiency is very critical part of the shopping. But on top of that, I think end consumers is ultimately looking for very unique experience, and people wanted to communicate. The Rakuten is about telling stories and the communicating, and internet shopping is part of the media in order to enable more rich the communication. Once you experience, then you will understand. But unfortunately, I think in Germany, there are not the service like what we do in Japan, basically.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
But now Rakuten.de is really launching a new platform so that the merchants can sell their product in a more unique way, and make their web store very, very different from other sites. And also, definitely, we need to, not just electronic products, but we need to have a different kind of product as well.
And in your book, in Marketplace 3.0, you gave the example of there are still a lot of small business owners in the street. I think you gave the example of a fish store or something versus a supermarket. But what we realize today is that more and more of such small stores close their doors actually because people want this kind of shopping experience, but they don't want to pay the price, the upper price in these smaller stores. Probably Japan is regarding these offline store concepts years ahead of the German market, because it's like evolving here right now really, really fast. Do you think there's like a barrier where people will start buy more offline, like on the offline retail stores, like on the online retail stores, because they are missing the experience? Because when all the stores here around are closing, all these little fish stores, the paperwork stores, and only supermarkets or supermarket-like concepts are staying here, people miss the concept because they're writing about today. Do you see such a development in Japan today, or?
Well, Japan is the same thing. What we call shutter street. All these small stores in local towns and cities, they are basically having a very difficult time to compete against big supermarkets. But what's happening is we are revitalizing their business by empowering them with internet. Now all these small shops in a Baubank, for example, can sell their products to all over Germany with a very unique experience at a very competitive pricing. That's what we are trying to do. We are trying to provide the traffic source, and the most difficult part for the small to medium-sized merchants is how to get new customers, as well as how to retain them, right? And then that's why we believe creating this collaborative destination site together with tens of thousands of shops is very, very important thing for them.
Yeah, and that's one of the main questions that are lasting is how to create such traffic. In Japan, you have described in your book, this was done by implementing very powerful tools like chatting techniques or video techniques, like to entertain customers. And but today we see growing networks like Facebook, Pinterest, where you invested money in, where this kind of stuff, this kind of communication happens outside the shopping platform. And do you see this happen in the future to the Rakuten marketplace?
I don't think there is any problem using social network platform. But there are so many different kinds of social networks right now. You have Pinterest, you have Facebook, you have Twitter. Now in Japan we have Line, and we need to be social network agnostic. We need to enable these small to medium-sized merchants to use social network very effectively. And the video can be stored on our site, or maybe they can use externally as well. But we need this, how to use them very effectively without the very advanced knowledge and expertise about it is more important. People who have good product and good service is not necessarily very tech savvy. So that's what we're doing. We're providing expertise and technology to make it really easy for the attractive shops to sell their product online.
But if all the communication, let's take as an example Pinterest and Facebook, if all the communication, like the customer versus vendor interaction, happens outside the Rakuten marketplace, then Rakuten is also a vending machine, or is becoming a vending machine.
I don't think so. The thing you see is people have the sort of the emotional mode of their behavior, right? When you're using basically Facebook, you're focusing on communicating with your friends, and people are coming to Rakuten to buy something. So it's kind of very obvious that the Pinterest is a little bit different story. Because we do affiliate marketing, we know the conversion rate of each traffic source, and the conversion rate of Rakuten is super high compared with the traffic of the social network. People don't want to get disturbed when you're talking with your friend, right? So they are creating very collaborative, unique shopping destination is very, very important. You see this already happening in the United States, for example. There is Etsy, Fab.com, of course eBay is there. But they are not the vending machines, right? So I think the social network is nothing different for me than more efficient email system. It's media for us to communicate with the customer.
Okay, interesting point of view, actually. Another question is regarding your ECC. You talked about in your presentation you have like 50 PhDs analyzing the data and finding out about best-in-class approaches of how to design your landing page, how to design your category pages, and how to manage your advertising effort. In Germany, we had recently a small discussion about local optimization. Like if everybody tries now the same, copying the Amazon approach of the landing pages or copying Zalando.de SEO tactics. But if everybody's going to do the same, nobody's going to win, because the shopping experience will decrease, or the average shopping experience will decrease. But you told in your presentation you have a team telling this kind of best practices to the vendors, telling a vendor of X, for example, or a vendor of camera equipment, how to design the optimal landing page. How does this match with the approach of giving away all the techniques to the vendors and letting them do whatever they want to do to enhance the shopping experience of the customer?
Well, first of all, the 50 PhDs is not just analyzing the web pages. They do lots of very advanced the research as well as the development. But one of the big part is the behavior insight analysis of the consumers. Some people are very price sensitive. Some people are more brand loyal, and so forth and so forth. And what I wanted to tell is not everybody, even in Germany, is just looking after the price. And there are behavior of the millions of customers are different in many, many ways. They have very unique the psychology and the behavior are very, very different. Having said that, the optical design of the landing page is very, very important. But you first need to understand what is most important information for the customer to buy your product. If it's a very simple product, maybe it's not that important, but they have to create a very beautiful photo image, what kind of information you want on top of your page, and where you should lay out the shopping button, and those kind of things is very different from one product to another. Do you want to have massive amount of information, or do you want to make it really, really simple? Including that, it's very, very important to customize it. Maybe I'm sure that many other companies, including our major competitor, are watching what we do. They're basically copying the concept. But that's okay, right? We learn from them as well, and they, of course, copy our concept. But I think we should focus on satisfying the customers, not just trying to differentiate from ourselves from the competition. Try to maximize the customer satisfaction and merchant satisfaction is most important thing. So we don't look at what other companies are doing that much. But of course, in my speech, I talk about how we are different. For day-to-day operation, we should focus on the customer.
Okay, and maybe one last question regarding this topic. If you look back to, I think you're internationalizing your business now, like within the last 5 years.
So 2008, yes.
What you have learned within that journey, is it possible to transfer the Rakuten business model from Japan to other markets, or is it necessary to adapt like a local Rakuten version in Germany, France, UK?
We need to balance the standardization and localization. Definitely, we need to have local taste for user experience. But I think the customer service maximization is very universally applicable. People, appreciate the good service, and so I think most part we will be able to transfer the Japanese, practices to other countries. But in some cases, we need to localize it. Of course, the payment method is different. Especially Germany, payment is very, very different from other countries. So
that's true.
We need to adjust that, but maybe some part of the design we need to adjust. But I think the major framework are applicable globally.
Okay, cool. Actually, we from like an industry expert group really hope to have an alternative for vendors apart from Amazon, because like a lot of vendors and even a lot of huge B2C platforms are suffering the Amazon effect. So really appreciate your German international.
Please help us.
Yeah, we try. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.